And chaos in Kentucky. Questions growing over the historic decision to disqualify the horse who finished first at the Derby and give the trophy to the long shot second place finisher. The crowd goes wild. Will the team behind Maximum Security try to overturn that decision in court for the first time? The horse's owner speaks out live today, Monday, May 6th. Good morning. Welcome to Today on a Monday morning. Nice to have you with us. Usually that Derby hangover lasts just till Sunday. But in this case, people are still talking about what happened on Saturday.
You know, most of us are casual horse racing fans. So when the race ended the way that it did, 20 minutes of chaos and confusion ensued. Now there's talk, of course, of an appeal, maybe even a lawsuit. We'll have an exclusive with the owner of Maximum Security in just a few minutes. Derby that everyone is still talking about this Monday morning. For the first time in the iconic race's 145-year history, the first place horse was disqualified for interference on the track. In a moment, we'll talk exclusively to Maximum Security's owner. But first, though, NBC's Ron Mott is at Churchill Downs with more on the controversy. Hey, buddy.
Hey, Craig, good morning to you. All pretty quiet here this morning at Churchill Downs, except for a few horses out for their morning exercises. It's a far cry from that scene on Saturday night, shortly after the race was declared official. Audible gasps and groans went up. This is a Kentucky Derby people will likely talk about and debate for years to come.
They're off.
New fallout this morning after a stunning reversal of fortune on horse racing's grandest stage.
Maximum Security wins the Kentucky Derby!
But Maximum Security never made it to the winner's circle, disqualified for interference. The coveted garland of roses draped instead on his runner-up, a 65-1 long shot named Country House. It's the first such ruling in Kentucky Derby history, 145 races.
Those horses were all affected, we thought, by the interference. Therefore, we unanimously determined to disqualify number 7.
This is what all the fuss is about. Maximum Security on the final turn for home drifts wide, impeding 2 other horses in the field of 19.
It's hard to see that he did anything to Country House.
Nevertheless, Country House goes into the record books as a Derby champion, a nearly $2 million run to glory, millions more for the lucky few who called his name.
No word can describe that. I don't know, it's amazing.
There were 2 objections lodged against Maximum Security, prompting an extended review by race officials for more than 20 tense minutes as anxious spectators waited.
They have to make a decision. Did they see anything that clearly impeded the horse?
I never put nobody in danger.
The unpopular finish causing a frenzy of outrage. Even the president weighing in, tweeting, the decision was not a good one. Only in these days of political correctness could such an overturn occur. But in the end, there can be only one winner, even if they don't finish first. Now, of course, the chase for the Triple Crown is always alive coming out of the Kentucky Derby. It doesn't matter who wins this race. Even a long shot like Country House is alive for the Triple Crown. Correct, Savannah?
All right, Ron Mott there for us at Churchill Downs. Ron, thank you.
And now joining us exclusively is the owner of Maximum Security, Gary West. Mr. West, good morning to you.
Good morning.
Before we get into the nitty-gritty here, I just have to ask you, as somebody who's been in the horse racing business for a long, long time, what it felt like to think that you had won the Derby and then to have it taken away. How was that moment for you?
It was literally like the old TV show, the thrill of victory and the agony of defeat, all within a 22-minute period of time. It was winning it was the most euphoric thing Mary and I have probably ever had in our lives, and the disappointment when they took the horse down for the first time in history, I couldn't. We were stunned, shocked, and in total and complete disbelief. It had never been done before.
Yeah. And as it stands this morning, are you planning to either appeal or file legal action? Where are you on that issue?
We are going to file an appeal today with the State Racing Commission. Right after the race, I had the trainer call the stewards and very nicely ask them if they would be willing to visit with us after the races were over. We said, we'll stay here till 11, 12 o'clock at night, whatever you want. And they said, absolutely not. We won't be showing the films until Thursday. So we didn't really have any alternative legally other than the appeal has to be filed within 4 48 hours.
Garrett,
So we'll be filing that today.
Gary, correct me if I'm wrong here. Just as I understand it, the Racing Commission there in Kentucky, and the language is important because they say that findings of fact and determination shall be final and shall not be subject to appeal. It doesn't sound like they're going to allow an appeal. What's going to be the basis there?
Well, obviously you can't appeal it to the stewards who made the decision. If the State Racing Commission refuses to hear about it, I think this is something that's big enough that the entire racing world is looking at this, and I think they deserve an opportunity to really know what was going on. I was a bit shocked and surprised that the stewards wrote a statement that was probably prepared by their lawyers and literally refused to take a single question from the media. So they've been about as non-transparent about this whole thing as anything I've ever seen in my life.
When you look at the video, and we're going to play it again for our viewers at home here, when you look at the video closely, Gary, can you see maximum security slide over 3 lanes and make that contact with another horse? Do you see that?
I obviously saw the horse move out, but in the Kentucky Derby, where you got 20 horses, and you shouldn't have 20 horses in the Kentucky Derby, Churchill Downs, because they're a greedy organization, has, rather than 14 like you have in the Kentucky Oaks, the Breeders' Cup, every other race in America, just because they can make more money, they're willing to risk horses' lives and people's lives to do that. I'm not a fan of that. I think they ought to have 14 like every other race. But yes, I saw the horse move out. But every Kentucky Derby, you could set down 2 or 3 or 4 horses if you wanted to, because it's like a rodeo out there.
But Mr. West, so you just said you did see the move. So the rules are the rules. The situation at the Derby with 1920 horses is that situation just on the merits. If there's a move and there's a foul, isn't the judge's decision essentially correct, even if you don't like it?
Well, that is a way of looking at it. The thing that is kind of mystifying to me is that the stewards were either looking at a high-definition television or looking at it with binoculars. Our horse was in the lead the entire way around. They looked at exactly what the whole rest of the world looked at, and they didn't file a steward's inquiry. So I can't imagine that it was very obvious to them at the time either.
Really quickly, Gary, a rematch would be great for the sport. The Preakness is in 2 weeks. It would also be an opportunity for you to prove that your horse is, in fact, the best out there right now. Are we going to see a rematch? Are you going to run in the Preakness?
No, we're not going to run in the Preakness.
Why not?
I think there's no Triple Crown on the line for us, and there's no reason to run a horse back in 2 weeks when you don't have to.
Gary West.
Thank you very much.